In the quiet English countryside, on a rainy July day in 1961, a little girl was born into nobility. Her name? Diana Frances Spencer. But no one could have predicted that this shy little girl would grow up to change how the world sees royalty, compassion, and humanity itself. She was born into wealth, but not warmth. Her parents' marriage was strained. Her mother left when she was only 6. Her heart would learn early on how to feel loneliness. But from that loneliness, a rare kind of empathy was born. Diana's childhood home, Althorpe House, was grand. But grandeur never replaced affection. She was often left to her own imagination, reading fairy tales, caring for animals, and quietly observing the world. Deep inside, she longed for a family that smiled together, for arms that would hold her tight. The divorce of her parents shattered her world. She became withdrawn but never cruel. At school, she wasn't top of the class. She didn't shine in academics, but her kindness stood out. When a classmate was bullied, it was Diana who took her hand. This quiet kindness would become her greatest strength. In 1980, when she was just 19, Diana's life changed forever. She met Charles, Prince of Wales, heir to the British throne. To the public, it was a fairy tale. The shy kindergarten teacher and the dashing prince. Cameras flashed, crowds cheered, and in 1981, the world stopped to witness the wedding of the century. A global audience of 750 million people watched as Diana walked down the aisle of St. Paul's Cathedral. But behind the glitz and glamour, the truth was far more complex. She was barely out of her teens. He was in love with another. Becoming a princess didn't mean becoming happy. Inside the palace walls, Diana felt like a prisoner. The pressure was suffocating. The tabloids watched her every move. Her every flaw became a headline. She struggled with bulimia and depression. She cried in silence while the world celebrated her. But she endured. For her children, for the people, for the little girl in her who still believed in love. When Prince William was born in 1982, Diana found new purpose. She said, "I will be there for my boys, always," and she meant it. Diana may have been trapped in a palace, but her heart roamed freely among the people. She broke royal protocol. She held hands with AIDS patients when the world was still terrified of the disease. She sat on hospital beds, hugged children in war zones, and walked landmine fields in Angola without flinching. The monarchy expected her to smile. She did more than that, she made people feel seen. When others turned away, Diana walked forward. That's why the world began to love her not just as a princess, but as something deeper, a symbol of humanity. Her marriage was collapsing. Charles had resumed his relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles. Diana knew, and she hurt. Her cries for help echoed through palaces and pages. Yet, instead of bitterness, she chose grace. She found solace in charity work, in motherhood, and in moments of real connection. In a 1995 BBC interview, she said the words that shook the monarchy. "There were 3 of us in this marriage. The world finally saw her truth. Not a victim, a survivor." After her divorce in 1996, Diana was no longer Her Royal Highness. But ironically, it was after the crown slipped away that her light began to shine even brighter. She threw herself into causes few dared touch. Leprosy, homelessness, landmines. She traveled the globe not as a princess, but as a woman with purpose. She said, "I don't go by the rule book. I lead from the heart." And lead she did. Her walk through an active minefield in Angola caught the world's attention. She turned humanitarianism into a personal crusade. Despite being one of the most photographed women in the world, Diana cherished her private time with William and Harry. She took them to amusement parks, fast food restaurants, and even snuck them into homeless shelters, so they could learn to see the world beyond palace gates. She wasn't just a royal. She was a mother on a mission to raise kind, grounded sons. The boys later said, "She gave us love. She gave us hugs. She was the best mother ever." In the summer of 1997, Diana's life took another turn. She began dating Dodi Fayed. The paparazzi frenzy grew worse. On August 31st, in the tunnel of Pont de l'Alma in Paris, tragedy struck. Her car crashed while being chased by photographers. Diana was just 36. The world fell silent. People cried in streets, left flowers by the thousands, and mourned as if they had lost family. Because, in a way, they had. On September 6, 1997, over 2.5 billion people watched her funeral. Her brother, Earl Spencer, said, "She proved in the last year that she needed no royal title to continue to generate her particular brand of magic." As Elton John sang "Candle in the Wind," millions wiped their tears. William and Harry, just boys, walked behind their mother's coffin. A life cut short, but a legacy just beginning. Even in death, Diana's message lived on. Her landmine campaign led to an international treaty. Her sons carry her torch in mental health, humanitarian aid, and compassion. She taught the world that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's power. She taught us that royalty isn't about crowns, it's about courage. She made us believe in kindness again. Why does Diana still move us? Because she was real. She laughed, she cried, she stumbled, and she got back up. She stood for the voiceless. She listened when others turned away. She didn't wear her heart on her sleeve. She gave pieces of it away to every person she met. She turned a gilded cage into a stage for love. From the sick beds of AIDS patients to the war-torn streets of Bosnia, her footprints remain. People who were once shunned were seen. People who had no hope felt warmth. She didn't save the world, but she reminded us to care. And maybe that's the greatest gift anyone can give. Diana was more than a princess. She was a healer, a rebel with a cause, a mother, a friend, a soul who loved deeply, suffered quietly, and gave generously. She showed us that one kind person can change everything. And in every heart that remembers her, Diana lives on, not as a memory, but as a movement of love, of courage, of never forgetting the human behind the crown. Fade out with soft music. The candle still flickers. The rose still blooms.